an idea of how to prevent it. In the battle against viruses, we now have the ability to mount the most effective defense of all, a vaccine.
Yeah.
Every 5 men suffer the AIDS virus, along with 1 in every 10 women. The figures are worse than parts of Central Africa. AIDS is flourishing here against the backdrop of vast poverty and crime, mainly drug dealing. Back in the 80s and even the early 90s, people were dying of AIDS quite routinely. With HIV infection incurable, AIDS creates a climate of fear. It was horrific. There were a lot of doctors who didn't want to treat HIV, even though we had by this time known how it spread. It was hard to get people to work with HIV patients. But as antiviral treatments become more sophisticated, it lifts the death sentence many HIV-positive patients have been given. By 2016, a large-scale vaccine trial is launched. So perhaps modern medicine will save us from a modern-day Black Death.
The risk of pandemics is not something we should live in fear of because it's part of living on planet Earth. I mean, that's 10,000 microbes living on my hands right now. You know, there's millions of microbes that are living in our bodies. Now, that's not to say that we won't, sometimes get sick and experience epidemics and pandemics. We will. But we have already survived all of that. That's part of the human condition. We're living through several pandemics right now. Society is not broken down. We have the HIV pandemic that's going on, the cholera pandemic that's going on, and the Zika pandemic that's going on.
The Zika virus is carried by the Aedes species of mosquito. Symptoms are usually mild: rash, fever, joint pain. But the consequences for unborn babies are severe. Now, what we're finding out more and more every day is that for many women, the risk of their baby become microcephalic. That means a small head. And with that small head comes a smaller brain. So there's issues of mental retardation and cognition that we don't even know what is going to happen to those children who have been born with Zika-induced microcephaly. So that's something very frightening. Although Zika can be devastating, some believe it won't reach pandemic level.
Just because a pathogen emerges somewhere doesn't mean it's going to cause an outbreak. 80% of people have no symptoms at all. The other 20%, the vast majority of them have a rash and a fever. But after you get through that, you have immunity. So the best thing is if it becomes sort of a childhood disease, right? Just like, a cold. Like, you have a little kid that gets about 12 colds a year or something like that. They're getting immunity each step of that way. And I think Zika virus is eventually going to have to become something like that. So I think our best defense is our immune system. And our immune system, if you think about it, has been honed over many, many years to do exactly this, which is to repel intruders.
This man refuses to rely solely on his immune system. Robert Studer has a fully equipped ambulance at the ready. Part of the reason was to get the message out about preparing. That's what I do for a living, is preparing. But secondly, it's also serves as a bug-out vehicle. Bug-out means it's an old military term that would mean that if you're going to bug out, they basically drop everything and leave the area because they're getting overtaken by the enemy. The ambulance holds all the equipment that I need for me and my family. Medical supplies, food, water, ways to create electricity. It's just a great vehicle to have. And at home, Robert has created a safe haven for himself and his family. So back here is where we keep our supplies just in case of